And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to FPL Don't Panic. I need a break, folks. I need a break. I was going to do a big, long, rambly fucking video this morning, taking you through my team for game week 8, the spreadsheet, projections, the whole bloody thing. I have been wrestling with this fucking computer for the last 3 days. As you can see, the screen is very basic at the moment, so it's just going to be a bit of spreadsheet. Talk through those plans. What I'm thinking of doing. Well, not thinking of doing. I'm going there, for better, for worse, possibly both. About 2 weeks ago, I think it was, I did a video which I titled "The New Template," and I think that is where it's going, and that is where I'm going. I said I'm going to sort of gradually move myself there. Interestingly, it's a small channel, and I don't really push it that much. I don't ask for likes or subscriptions. People that find me, and I really appreciate the ones that do, and stick with me on this little journey. But generally, I don't really try and push it too much. But that new template video, 10,000 bloody views. I mean, normally, I'm quite happy with 200 or 300, even less sometimes. We've got a little community here, and I really enjoy it and love it, and that's part of the reason that I do it. It keeps me a little bit disciplined and on track. As you've all seen, I can be a little bit undisciplined and go off track. But doing these videos, to an extent, keeps me a little bit focused and keeps me sticking vaguely to my methodology. Not always. We've got to have a little punt sometimes, don't we? The game's for fun. But yeah, it was interesting. I seen that video I did a few weeks ago. One, how many hits it got, how many views, but also seen a lot of other content providers talking about exactly the same thing. And that thing is the new template 5-4-1-4-5-1. And I've been alluding to it a wee bit from the beginning of the season. And I just don't think there's any doubt now that that's where it's going. We've got DEFCON. It's changed the game. I don't like it personally. I don't like it, actually. Fucking, rather than looking at Munoz tearing down the wing at 4:45 on a Saturday, hoping he's gonna ping in a cross for Mateta, I'm fucking staring at my phone, wondering, is Lacroix gonna make fucking DEFCON? Oh, he's online. He's online. It's a pain in the fucking hole. Really is. Really is, in my opinion. However, that is the game we're playing at the moment, and one of the things I did in that video, if anyone wants to look back on it, and it hasn't changed, is when you look at the top defenders, you've got to go down about 20 defenders before you're falling outside a defender that's not hitting a good 4, 5, 6 point average. Still got to get the right ones at the right time and have them in. But in general terms, you've got a full big list of defenders all hitting a really, really solid average. Midfielders starts to dip a bit. And then the forwards, it falls off a cliff after Haaland, because there's no forwards really putting their hand up and playing consistently. That may change, templates change, but at the moment, your safe bets is just getting a really good back 4 or 5. Get out there, you get a 5-point average across them all, get a nice balance between your attacking midfielders and your DEFCON midfielders, and just play a Haaland up front and maybe one other that you just hope finds a bit of form, whoever that may be. Whether that's going to be a Bowen, whether Mateta might come into form for me. He has a very high expected goals involvement, but it's just not happening, is it? So, as I said in my last video, that I had done a couple of transfers, and I had gone early. I don't like doing transfers early, particularly not in an international break. Don't mind at the beginning of the season when you're trying to build squad value, and there's no midweek matches. But once those midweek matches come in, it is high risk. But I have gone there because I would have got priced out. So let's talk through this a little bit. Some of my thinking. That, as you see it there, and I know I'm contradicting myself slightly there, because that is the team as I will have it at the moment going out for game week 8 with Van Dijk, Burn, and Lacroix as my defenders. That's contradicting what I'm just saying about going with the back 4, back 5. I just don't have the right back 4 or back 5 at the moment to 100% commit into that. So it's going to be a gradual process there. And it was my midfield, I think, that really needed the biggest surgery. I did roll my 2 transfers from game week 7. I have a little bit of regret around doing that because every single feckin' player that I had on my watch list, and that's pretty much the watch list as you see it there. And I was thinking, you know, do I actually take a hit or two in 7? Gabriel 9, Timber 12, Eze 6, Sar 7, Rice 11. That was my favourite one. That was the one I probably would have taken out Rodri for and just done a straight transfer into. Would have been Rice. So there's definitely some regret in not taking the hit and just go with it. But I do have my no hits policy. I've only taken 1 so far. I allow myself 3 for the season. If I had taken the 2 hits, then there would have been obviously some immediate impact. However, what I do have now is more information. Now, whether that information is 100% correct, we don't know. But yes, we don't know whether it's going to play out well for me until 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's what's done is done. But it does show my watch list was a good watch list with Gabriel, Timber, Eze, Sar, and Rice all coming in. And my 2 favourites out of there would have been Timber and Rice, neither of whom have come into the team, because that information that we got was maybe Saka is still on penalties and he's looking good and his minutes look good. So so Saka is who has come in, and as you can see there, because I couldn't get to Rice, if I did want to do a Saka Rice double up, couldn't get there on the price wise, but Caicedo has also been on my watch list, and he is now removed from the watch list, and he also bloody returned with 10 points. Fucking game would drive you freaking nuts, wouldn't it? Jesus, 20 points there left behind effectively. Not really 20, as I think by the time I'd done the -4 and the maths, etc. But certainly, you know, if I'd done the 2 transfers, you know, it would have been a good 10, 12 points better off. Is what it is. So those are the transfers that I've done. I do feel that moving into this 4-5-1, 5-4-1 is the way to go, or 4-4-2. You know, hopefully Mateta and Zhao survive while I remodel this team. Are those players on the watch list definitively the ones that are going to come in? No, not definitively. Like I said in the last video, it's probably the profile of the player. So where I plan to move, I think, with the defence. So at the moment, I've got Van Dijk, Lacroix, Sinisi, Tarkowski. Van Dijk will certainly move out at some point. Across 8, 9, 10. We'll just give that as a rough timeline. And probably will turn into Timber, I think. Will be my favourite at the moment. But I still don't rule out Gabriel. As I say, my 3 defenders I've got out there at the moment. Van Dijk is the one that is dropping below the 5-point average that I think I should be achieving as a minimum from defenders. Burns just going great guns. Lacroix as well. Nice steady averages. And then Sinisi is obviously fine. Tarkowski just falling a little bit below the 5. Could use that money potentially. You know, there are some good defenders putting up their hands. Tarkowski, you know, City away, Spurs home, Sunderland, Fulham. I think he'll get back on track. It's steady. It's a nice, steady defence. And I just think I can either free up some money from Van Dijk. You know, if I did look at a 4.5, 5.5 defender. But I think my favourite probably is got to get that one Arsenal asset in there. Beautiful sea of green fixtures. Lovely. So that could well be the next transfer, I think, come game week 8. And I don't like future booking transfers because so much can happen, particularly now that I have got my 2 transfers that I had in hand for all these international matches. So it's going to be a very, very nervous wait. But ultimately, I do believe I'm going to start playing with a back 4 in a, you know, 4-5-2 type formation, and sometimes indeed a 5-4-1. So we've addressed some of the issues in midfield. Obviously, Bruno is gone. So Bruno's gone. So effectively, Saka has come in for Bruno. Bruno will punish me. He always does. I bring him in. He fucks me over. I transfer him out. He gets something. But I need that reliability. I need the Arsenal asset in there. Having taken not done the transfers this week, at least it's allowed me to assess. Does look like Saka, if not 100% on penalties, it looks like he is the decision maker on whether he keeps the penalties or give them away. So I reckon he'll keep a reasonable proportion of them. We'll see, and I can already see a lot of people that have bought in Jokeras last week are already transferring out so they can actually try and get to Saka, and some people are taking hits. So in that respect, I feel the decision to wait was at least a little bit justified in that. At least thought, no, Saka's the way to go. I fudged his numbers a wee bit there with the. You can see I've got his numbers in white. They're showing 5-5-5-5. My experience with Saka over the years has been pretty mixed. You know, some people see him as this great hauler. He's not really a great hauler. He'll have little haul moments, but his averages generally pan out at about 7. And because of his injuries, etc., and limited minutes, I've just fudged the figures a little bit and just given him an average of 5 in white there for that. And obviously, he came in with his 8 in game week 7. So it showed him there an average of 5.6. I believe we will see a really decent return from him out to. There's just a great sea of fixtures there, you know, even all the way out to 15. There's just a few pretty tough ones in there. Good fixtures, and hopefully he stays injury free, and we see some decent hauls in there. But all I want from Saka is just that consistency. Get your assist every week, get your assist, get a couple of bonus. Let's just see that nice steady 7 going out there. And if there's 1 or 2 hauls in there, beautiful. Caicedo. This is a thing that really pisses me off with myself sometimes when I listen to other people's narratives. I think Caicedo has been one of the best midfielders in the Premier League this year. I watched Chelsea's first game and I really liked the look of him. And then obviously, what was it? The second game, I thought, fuck, I'm bringing him in. No, I'm bringing him in. I know he's not a goal scorer. He's going to get his DEFCON. And if he just hits a steady 4 or 5 week average, great. 4 or 5 points per week average. Absolutely fine with that for that money. And then I started listening to other content providers. Oh, no, don't go there. Don't go. Don't go. I don't really want to go there. So I didn't. Look, Becker now, look at him. You know, last 5, 12, 4, 2, 10, 6.4 average. And I'm not points chasing. I don't expect him to get a goal or 2 every 5 games. But he might. He's with Palmer off the pitch. He just seems to be getting up there and firing off a few shots. And that Palmer injury, I think it's going to be longer term than what people are letting on. And that ain't going away. That's been dragging on for a long time. And I wish the well lad. I like Palmer a lot. And Palmer would definitely be on my menu. Now I could get to him if I knew he was coming back 100% fighting fit. But I like Caicedo. So I've gone, my structure in my midfield I'm going to be looking for is 3 haulers and 2 fucking steady DEFCON guys that just might get you that attacking return. So Caicedo has obviously come in for Rodri, who I thought was going to be that guy for me. It will now be Caicedo. Just, picking up your DEFCON, few clean sheets, so we'll be looking at 4 pointers, 5 pointers. But you never know when he just pings, and his goals he scored have been beautiful. They've been absolutely, really, really solid. If he could get 1 in 5, I'm not even expecting that. That would be the bonus. Semenyo. Foden is one that could be at risk, and he may turn by about game week 10. Let me just have a think about that. Yeah, I'd say by about 10, where Crystal Palace's fixtures get pretty decent again. Brentford, Brighton, Wolves, Man United, Burnley, Fulham. Lovely run of fixtures. If Foden's not going well, he could well turn into Sarr. But I'm hoping Foden comes good. Because when he does go off, Foden really does go off. Because then there are obviously ways then where I could turn Dewsbury Hall into Sarr. Somehow or other, that's where it's going to sort of form, really good. 3 haulers and 2, just a really good midfield, which has got a nice mixture of DEFCON guys and the haulers that would show me that sort of 6 points per week average out of a midfield reliably. but still with those whole potentials in there. Well, maybe I just might get a couple of 80 or 90s, as opposed to where I've been very, very steady since I wildcarded him for, yeah, pretty much bang on the 70 average across those game weeks. Would like to see an 80 or a 90 in there. Don't want to, or not the other anomaly where I get the 25, as I said in the last video. But it has been steady the last 3 or 4 game weeks for sure, since game week 4. Up front, there is problems. Just in that it's just a complete over reliance now on Haaland, who's been fantastic. It was nice, I guess, in a way that I almost not quite got my 70 in a week where Haaland only had 1 return. But João Pedro in particular, his form has fallen off a cliff. The fixtures are there, and he still has a few game weeks with me to recover it. With a couple of decent fixtures there with Forest and Sunderland. Similarly, Mateta, who I have more hope for that he might survive, and it might become João that moves out and becomes a little bit of a cash cow, maybe for, don't shoot me, Calvert-Lewin, who can just sit on the bench and come in for certain fixtures. Isidore, he knows a way to go, that lad, and good price. So again, could just sit on the bench, just come in for certain fixtures as needed. But as I say, as I move towards playing that sort of 4-5-1, 5-4-1, or 4-4-2, depending on the fixture, etc. So João or Mateta very likely to go. So they're in battle for the next 2 game weeks to see who gets their averages up to a more respectable 7-ish, because at the moment we've got João on 4.4 after a cracking start to the season, falling off a cliff, and Mateta just running at a 3.4 average, which is nowhere near what I need. Bench is the bench for this coming game week. Senesi, a little nervous about benching Senesi. I've got fixture clashes there. I could change. I mean, the lad's got an average of 7, even though he's been an absolute legend for me. Average of 7. Tarkowski's just fallen down to the 4, as you can see, and Dewsbury Hall, he can sit on the bench for a couple of game weeks until I move him out. And I didn't mind Dewsbury Hall in the last game I saw him play, the other one at Everton a couple of weeks ago. I thought he looked lively, and he looked like he's got a go. I'm happy enough just to have him there for the time being, just in case I do get injuries and can bring him in. He looks like he's got a goal or an assist in him, so fine with that. On the watch list, this is not the definitive watch list. There's other players in my mind as well, but obviously I do need to get some Arsenal cover in there from the defensive side. Favourite there, I think, would be Timber, just so I can actually have someone I bloody enjoy watching. Charging up that wing, getting in the box. As opposed to looking at my phone at 4:45 on a Saturday, thinking, "Oh, where's my DEFCON? Where's my DEFCON?" Eze very much on my menu. His averages are only just at 3.8, but he's obviously been playing with limited minutes. I like the look of him, and we know when Eze gets going, he can bang in 3 or 4 14, 15 pointers in a row. So Eze definitely to think about. It's almost like Eze or Sarr, or do I get to both? No decisions made there yet. There's a lot of football to be played, and these are the players that I'm. And Rice Rice is still on the menu. Rice is still on the menu. At his price, he is been incredibly consistent. The last 6, 4, 3, 9, 11. As I say in that video I did a couple of weeks ago, even before weeks back, I was talking about Rice, and why don't I follow my fucking instincts sometimes and take the wrong gamble? I went Rodri instead of Rice. Where would I be now? That's kind of it. I'll keep it at that. It's just a little talk about. I don't know how you guys are shaping up your teams. I just don't think there's too much doubt in my mind at the moment. Is have 5 good DEFCON-ish type defenders, or at least a reasonable mix. It is where the points are coming from. I mean, even Gabriel, who I don't know what's going on at the moment. Gabriel suddenly started picking up DEFCON every bloody week. Didn't see that coming, particularly in a game like that where they dominated so much against West Ham, and he still got his bloody DEFCON. I really didn't see that coming. But yeah, my thoughts are, and if I was offering advice, yeah, just make sure you've got 5 defenders that you could actually put out in any game week. And apart from one game week with my 5 defenders, apart from one anomaly game week, I've generally been working off a floor of 25 points and a ceiling of 40 points. It's kind of where the points are. And then, similarly with the midfield, just getting the balance right and just having that ability to flick between, 4-4-2, 5-4-1, 4-5-1. Got that all right? Did I get it all right? I think I got that all right. That's kind of it, guys. I'm going to switch off for a while now. It's been a busy few weeks of FPL, and just having to fight with this fucking computer software for the last couple of days. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I'll hopefully have that all rectified by the time we get back just before game week 8. But yeah, little break now. Little break. We've earned it. We've been working very, very hard. Take care. Have fun. Play your own game. Do not panic. I will see you in about a week and a half. See you soon. Bye-bye.